What you're seeing right now isn't chaos, and it's definitely not random. This was a calculated power move, and most people are completely misreading it. I'm not here to break the news or hype headlines. I'm here to explain why this move was made and what it signals, and how it fits into a much bigger strategy that Washington, D.C. does sign the National Defense Authorization Act. And at the exact same time, he quietly escalated military pressure in the Western Hemisphere, specifically around Venezuela. And that combination is not accidental. Over the last few days, United States forces have carried out additional strikes on suspected drug trafficking vessels, up to and including last night, including one in the Eastern Pacific. On the surface, the press wants you focused on polling, who supports it, who opposes it, and whether Americans are comfortable with it. That's the noise, and I'll show you this clip to confirm what I'm telling you.
President Trump has signed the National Defense Policy Bill. It comes as he orders increased military pressure on Venezuela. Our latest Fox News polling shows 53% of respondents say they oppose the attacks on suspected drug trafficking boats. Meanwhile, another drug...
So do you like how Fox News leads with polling rather than facts, rather than the buildup, rather than going in and out of that country are now being treated as targets? That's not...
Administration's new national security strategy will come at a cost, impacting the size of U.S. military deployments around the world and have consequences on the U.S. ability to project power.
The Pentagon wants to consolidate and downsize U.S. Central Command, European Command, and Africa Command.
So you saw there how the news media is spinning this. This is about repositioning American power back into our own hemisphere. Right now, 14 United States Navy warships are operating in the Caribbean. USS Gerald R. Ford, our most advanced aircraft carrier, was just pulled from the Mediterranean to support this posture. And for the first time in years, the United States has gone months without a carrier stationed in the Middle East or Europe. That alone should tell you this isn't business as usual. At the same time, the Pentagon is scaling back deployments elsewhere. Hundreds of troops along NATO's eastern flank and potential reductions in South Korea, and serious conversations about consolidating major combat commands like CENTCOM, EUCOM, and AFRICOM. What that means? I'll tell you what it means. Resources are finite, and this administration is choosing where America shows strength and where it doesn't. Congress knows exactly what that means. That's why they've stepped in with these guardrails, these talking points, and they've probably reached out to some news media, forcing any further troop withdrawals from Europe or South Korea to require congressional approval under this new NDAA. Because once you start shifting global posture, you don't get to pretend it's temporary. And Trump has made a concerted effort to the entire world that they know our priorities are here in our hemisphere. We're tired of taking care of everyone else. You're going to see more things like this all over the news. According to right-wing UK media, Trump's armada is targeting ghost ships and a dark fleet off Venezuela. Ghost ships mean they're not registered, they're not logged, they're not being tracked. So yeah, I'm sure some of these transporting black market oil, and other people are saying that they're carrying other products that some of these criminal organizations would like to sell here in the United States as well. Here is Donald Trump on the tarmac discussing the sanctions and the blockade.
It's the blockade. You're not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took.
So apparently there were companies that had land deals, had drilling and mineral rights in Venezuela. When Maduro came into power, he canceled all of it, did not refund any of the money. And now these businesses really just want the products, goods, and services that they paid for.
Well, certainly, you mentioned the money. That's what this is really all about. He's got two major sources of money and revenue. Certainly, the main one is oil, and those tankers are the means to him achieving that. And the other is the drug trafficking, because he and the cartels are one. So yeah, this is an escalation for sure. We've seen
the escalation will depend on the response from the Maduro-led regime. It'll mainly depend on the response from the Venezuelan Navy. Now, it looks like here, and this is more information coming out, U.S. Navy jets from the Gerald R. Ford are buzzing 35 miles off the coast of Caracas in a major show of force. Now, this is a display. This is a flex by the United States Navy saying, we are here, we are doing the right thing, rethink your posture, rethink your response, because this could get ugly very quickly. And just one wrong move by someone on one of these Venezuelan ships, and things could really turn around. Now, the Venezuelan Navy, Maduro, has allowed or has told some of his United States or some of the Venezuelan Navy to escort these ships. And this is a blockade. So you see here what they're doing. They are escorting these tankers out. And I just think that this is, I don't know how much you trust the Venezuelan Navy. They're going to do some for Donald Trump, except show them that Venezuela, Maduro, I think he wants to FA and FO. That's what it's looking like. The blockade of Venezuela, this is coming out of Venezuelan news. They're saying it's over. They're giving the big, I guess, the big middle finger to Trump because they have their own escorts. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I think it's going to end badly. I want you to think about this. You layer all of this stuff happening in Venezuela on top of Trump's recent conversations with the Chinese leader Xi and the Russian leader Putin, and suddenly the panic from Washington elites makes sense. They're worried the old global map is being redrawn. Less endless overseas presence. You get the United States troops back around us. More concentrated power where it directly affects our interests and safety. This isn't chaos, it's prioritization. And whether you agree with it or not, one thing is clear. America's military focus is changing, and pretending this is just about drug boats is either ignorance or dishonesty. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.